Today on Across the Fence, we're going on a field trip. Destination, Vermont, with a group of new faculty members from the University of Vermont. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in for Judy Simpson. And joining me this afternoon is a native Vermonter who served in the state legislature and as the state director and senior advisor to Senator Patrick Leahy. Most recently, he spent 6 years as Vermont's agriculture secretary, and now he serves as the director of University of Vermont Extension. It is a pleasure to welcome back Chuck Ross. Chuck, good to see you.
Good to see you, Will.
What are the key things that you've been working on in the last 9 months? There must be some priorities?
Well, the first priority is just to kind of get in the office and start to learn the landscape. But that landscape's big in Vermont when it comes to extension. We have 12 offices, 11 of them outside of scattered around the state, and the state office at the campus. So I've been traveling around with Dean Vogelman, visiting our staff and faculty that are working across the state. In addition, been trying to understand the various programs and processes that go with extension. As you know, the programmatic profile of UVM Extension is wide and it's diverse.
Very diverse.
Yeah, and so that's been really fascinating to get to know. And we've launched a strategic planning process within Extension to help figure out, as to use the hockey analogy, where the puck's going to be as compared to where the puck is today. Because we want to continue to be enormously relevant to Vermont and Vermonters and a service to the university. And we need to know what is the next thing that we need to help Vermont and the university connect on so we can have healthy communities and a vibrant economy.
What have you identified as the strengths of University of Vermont Extension?
Well, in a general sense, it's our ability to interface between the university and the communities of Vermont and bring in, education and information from the university to those communities to help them engage in the challenges and opportunities that they have. That particularly shows up when you talk about water quality and agriculture. We provide an enormous array of services helping farmers understand how to mitigate their impact on water quality in the state, helping their farm workers who may be migrant workers understand how to be a member of the community so they are comfortable and want to stay here. And clearly, a flagship program of the University of Vermont, as it is in many land-grant colleges, is 4-H. We reach over 6,000 students a year in 4-H. We help them learn how to be leaders, engage in work that teaches them the lessons of what it means to be a responsible person. And we also try to work with families and communities and schools to help them figure out how to avoid the temptations of the presence of drugs in their community, which is, as we know, is present in every community, almost in every state in the country.
I know you feel passionately about that, and I've heard you talk about that before, the importance of youth development and the importance of 4-H.
Yes, youth is going to, those are the people that are going to be our consumers of the future.
Our select boards, our civil,
yeah, they're going to be the CEOs, the business owners, the leaders of Vermont in the future. And so the better education we can give them, the better prepared they are, the less tempted or distracted by the negative opportunities like drug use, the more we can help them avoid those pitfalls and learn how to be leaders and professionals in our communities, the better our communities are going to be and the better the state's going to be.
Well, in our introduction today, I said we'd be going on a field trip. It is a field trip designed specifically for new faculty members at the University of Vermont, including you. So here's our story from Across the Fence's Keith Silva.
I moved here in July.
Rashida Weaver is a new faculty member at the University of Vermont. She's one of 13 new faculty taking part in a tour of Vermont farms and agricultural businesses. The tour is hosted by UVM Extension.
Farms are extremely important. This is why I was really excited about the tour. We are becoming a more health-conscious society, and it's really important for us as researchers, just to understand what is out there, what kind of the differences between organic and conventional, and where we can get local produce, and the importance of what the cows are eating, and that's all important for just any human being.
The goal of this tour is to see Vermont, to take in the sights, but also to learn about Vermont from the people of Vermont.
The first thing I realized is just how proud Vermonters are of living in Vermont, and also the sense of community here, the really big emphasis on community and health. I just noticed people who seem very happy here.
The pride of Vermonters is reflected in the man who started this tour, longtime leader of UVM Extension, Doug Lontine. He was on hand, but this year he's playing a smaller part. The tour's legacy now belongs to the new director of UVM Extension, Chuck Ross.
This is my first tour, and it's clear to me it's a great opportunity for the new people who are coming to the university to understand the University of Vermont and the context in which it exists here in Vermont. What we know about Vermont is that we as Vermonters are a prideful bunch. We're independent, we're self-reliant, but we're also very community-oriented, and we have a vision that's beyond our borders.
The tour focuses on farms and businesses outside Chittenden County. Ross believes this is an essential factor in getting new and old Vermonters to understand the role UVM plays in the state.
The university is the University of Vermont, and it's, I think, critically important that the people of the state understand the university is an enormously important resource for them. And I think it's really important for those of us that work at the university to realize that there's an enormous resource in the state. It's people, it's landscape, it's businesses, and when we can connect the two, I think it's better for both.
Sambit Mohapatra has been in the United States about 10 years. He came from Montana to Vermont. By taking part in this tour, he's reminded of the need for professors to get out of the classroom and the lab.
We always think about engaging the community and how to do the research in a community, and this whole trip was an eye-opener. You know more about Vermont, not just stay within this particular county, because since you're living here and probably working here, you don't get out of the community. That makes us feel appreciated more to know the community at large and to know what is going on outside of this county. How the UVM actually reaches out to the local farmers through the UVM Extension program, and how they could come with a very evidence-based research which is actually informing them in terms of food safety, how to store food for a long time. That was very amazing. I was really amazed by that whole thing, yeah.
One of the tour stops was Taylor Park in St. Albans. UVM Extension Master Gardeners are in charge of maintaining the gardens here. Brett Halverson was on the tour as the new state coordinator of the UVM Master Gardener program. This stop gave her the chance to go from guest to host.
St. Albans Park project is a wonderful project that Master Gardeners have put a lot of time into, so it was really great to be able to showcase that, and I think also make connections and share the type of work we do so that potentially we can connect to some of the work that the faculty on the tour do here at UVM as well.
A high point of the tour for Halverson was learning about UVM Extension's connections within communities and how far back some of those connections go.
There was farmers and business people that mentioned they had connections to Extension that went back 4 or 5 generations. And so I thought that really spoke really well to the depth and commitment of Extension to the community in Vermont.
My research happens in places like this, and that's pretty amazing.
In the short time she's lived in Vermont, Rashida Weaver has made an observation about what Vermonters want. Taking this tour has showed her how she and her family fit into this perspective.
I'm from the Bronx, and being here, I feel very at peace. And I love being from New York, and it's a very ambitious, and I'm super ambitious, and I'm from there, and that's normal. But Vermont is ambitious in a different kind of way, and I wouldn't have seen that, wouldn't have understood that until I came here. You know, it's they're ambitious to be the healthiest state. Their ambition is to also have just a great space for quality of life for raising families, and that's something that I really appreciate here. And one of the reasons that I came is because it seems like exactly what I need at this point in my life. That I have a 2.5-year-old and I'm newly married. Just being here, we've been really happy.
After this tour, these new UVM faculty, these new Vermonters, know they can always come home to Vermont. In Vermont, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
And back here in the studio, I'm Will Michael alongside UVM Extension Director Chuck Ross. Chuck, people had a lot of fun. Anything that you learned along the way, or were you teaching along the way?
Every time I get out of the office and go visit Vermonters and see what they do and how they do it, I learn something. Jericho Settlers Farm was fascinating to see how they process the products they produce on that farm and get them ready for the market. Their washing system, and it's all about food safety and providing healthy, quality products ready for consumption. And to be on their farm and to see their process and talk to their employees, absolutely learn something new. So fun time, and really an inspiring group of new faculty we have coming on campus this year.
Your predecessor, Doug Lontine, was also in the video. This is one of Doug's legacies.
Yeah, this is one of the wonderful things Doug has done for the university and for the state. To be able to introduce new members of our Vermont community and our university community to the state in this kind of way, I think really allows them to see the complexity and the diversity of our community. And as was testified by the very people who were on the tour, it's a very community-oriented place with real ambitions to be a healthy place to live.
I think this next thing bespeaks to the community, your own roots here in Vermont. 8th generation, I think?
Yeah, that's
7th, 8th?
I understand I'm the 8th, but you never, get back in that fuzzy world of the past, you're never sure.
My point here is you're a lifelong ambassador of Vermont. We've talked about your public service, what you're doing now. What do you want people to know about your state, our state, and specifically, what do you want people to know about Extension in the 21st century?
Well, Extension has been engaged in the state of Vermont for decades. And
I thought Brett Halverson, the master gardener, made an excellent point about that, serving people now for a 3rd or 4th or maybe even 5th generation.
Yeah, and we Extension have been around for a long time. We've been making a difference for Vermonters in many ways for many, many years. And the goal really is to help Vermonters find a way to improve their lives and their livelihood, to raise healthy families and a healthy community. And that's one of the things we help the University of Vermont do, is reach out into our communities where we live and where we oftentimes work in various ways, and improve those communities and help people make Vermont the kind of place we want to live, work, and raise a family.
I think it's also fair to say you and your family have been ambassadors at and for the University of Vermont. Again, don't want to embarrass you, but your roots run deep, and I believe it's particularly on your dad's side.
Yeah, my grandmother and grandfather were graduates of the University of Vermont. My grandmother was a Phi Beta Kappa grad, I think the first woman at the university. My grandfather got his MD from UVM in 1908. My dad was an adjunct professor. My brother and sister went to school there. I'm a graduate. I've been on the board of trustees and a number of other advisory boards. So it's been a long family relationship with the university. And
you touched on it in the video. I brought it up because that is important. It's an important from an economic development point of view and a serving Vermonters point of view in terms of the economic engine that is the University of Vermont.
Yes, the university is an enormously important asset for the state of Vermont. And I hope that Vermonters can appreciate everything that UVM brings to this state. And I feel privileged to be in a place where I can help share that value with Vermonters so they can understand why the University of Vermont is good for them and why we all should be supporting it as it supports the state.
Chuck, I need to stop us there as we're just about out of time. I want our viewers to know that if they have a question or comment for you, the director of UVM Extension, that our viewers can call the State Extension office, and we've just put the phone number up there. It's a toll-free number, 866-622-2990. That's 866-622-2990 is toll-free to the State Extension office. Or you can also email Chuck, his address at the bottom of your screen that you see there, chuck.ross@uvm.edu. Chuck, a pleasure to have a chance to visit with you. Thanks for the commitment and coming in this afternoon.
My pleasure. Real privilege.
That is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.